Hey guys, hope you're having a great day. Tim back with another video for you. And today on this video, we are talking about new construction. More precisely, we are talking about the process of new construction, because I get that question a lot, because new construction is really going great guns here, booming. Of course, you know the story. We are at a 20-year low in available housing, and therefore the builders have really kicked it into high gear. So we've got a lot of new construction going on here, and we are getting clients into new construction left and right. And so one of the questions I get is, hey, can you just kind of explain the process? Because if you're not in the industry and you have never built a home before, odds are you really don't know what the process is. Now, it can be pretty complicated. I've had some builders tell me that there are probably 40 or 50 steps from the time you break ground to the time you get the house complete. But we're not going to go over 40 or 50. We've got probably the top 10 things that has to happen for a home to be constructed. And we're going to go over those right now. You can see we're at a job site now. I'm going to talk about this first, and then we are going to look at different construction sites that are in different phases so we can look at every step along the way. So, hey, do me a favor before we get started. If you like what we do here on the channel, do me a favor, click the subscribe button, the little bell notification icon, give us a thumbs up, and that way you will never miss another video. And hey, don't forget, we have Revolved Realty here. We've got almost 80 agents now on the ground ready to serve you. I talk to people literally every day who are moving here for work, for school, for retirement, and we are more than happy to help them find a new home because we are experts. I was born and raised here. I know the area very well. Let me give you a shot of my car. My grandson loves this car because it's got my picture on the side. What I tell everybody is, when you get my age, you have to put your picture on your car just so you can find it in parking lots. So anyway, all right, so let's get started. The very first thing that has to happen when a builder is going to develop a subdivision like this or just build a home is they have to get with the government, of course, and they have to get permits. They have to get licenses. There has to be engineering studies done on the property. You can't just come into a piece of land and start building. It's very involved. So you've got to have your plan together. And even before you break ground, a lot of work and a lot of money goes into planning out a subdivision like this, mapping it out. Once you do get all of your permits and you get all of your contracts and your permission and that sort of thing, well, then you start clearing the site. Now here, most of the construction is taking place on what was previously pasture land, some woods. You can see the woods back there. Some of it is cotton fields. And, while cotton fields and soybean fields tend to be relatively flat, most pasture land is not. So the very first thing they have to come in and do once they have their plan in place is they have to grade the property. They bring in bulldozers, backhoes. They do a lot of moving around of the earth. They do a lot of trench digging. You can see the septic lines going in here. And this is the sewer system. And if they were using septic tanks, they would have to be digging those. But this is going to be a sewer system. Also has underground utilities, underground plumbing. That's what you see, these various pipes sticking up here. Now, what is all this mounds of dirt? As far as we can see, there are mounds of dirt. What these guys are doing is they're bringing in dirt to help level off the property, smooth it out, and in a lot of cases, they'll build up the lots because they want the water to drain down. So they will build the lots up above the grade of the street. So that's what we're seeing here. This is actually a new subdivision going in here in Madison. I don't even know the name of it yet, but you can see it's at the back of this little subdivision here. But they've cut roads all around through here. And you can see there's some pasture land over there that they haven't even gotten around to grading yet. But this development is really at the first stage. They've got the plans, they've got the approvals, now they're coming in, they've got the rough cut streets here. They have, you can see the stakes, they've staked off. Where's the stake? There it is right there. They have staked off the lots. They're bringing in dirt now to build the lots up. Next step is they're going to come in and they're going to start grading this and smoothing it out and getting this land ready to build. And then that will take us to the next step, which is the foundation. Now, the foundation is really one of the most important parts of any home site, because if your foundation isn't firm and constructed well, you could have problems down the road. You get a lot of settling, you get a lot of foundation issues. We have a lot of those here. So you want to make sure the foundation is done correctly. So here in Alabama, we don't do basements. Get a lot of questions about that. Do you have basements? Folks up north are used to having basements. Well, we don't here. We don't have a lot, and if we do, they're in older homes. We do not see basement construction with new construction. What we do have is we have slab and we have crawl space. So once the ground is leveled off, they will come in, and if they're going to do a slab pour, slab is just a concrete on the ground. They'll level it off, get really smooth. They'll bring in and they'll build forms around the perimeter, and they will pour concrete. They've got rebar in there, and you can see everything sticking up. These are plumbing, electrical, underground utility type things that are sticking up. So this is a slab home, and this is pretty common here. We do have some crawl space homes. Crawl space, what they do is they trench all around the perimeter, and they'll pour concrete, and then they'll put concrete block on top of that. And that will give you what's called a crawl space, where you can crawl under your house if you are so inclined. But this is a great example of the slab. Now you can see this one down here. Nice day, a little windy. This one, they are just now preparing to pour the slab. They've done they've got the perimeter, they got the gravel in there. They're going to smooth that out. They've got the forms, and probably within the next couple of weeks, they will get all of this smoothed out, and they will pour the concrete, and it will look about like that. So it gives you a good idea of what the foundation is like. So once the foundation is done, the next step is what they call the rough framing. Rough framing is when they start literally coming in and framing the house. And that's when you can really see a home start to take some shape. Now, for example, this home is framed in. You can see it's got kind of the layout you can imagine. This would be the foyer. That's probably a dining room, living room there, kitchen. And it's basically a house of sticks at this point. But they get everything framed in. They can also start coming in with some plumbing and some HVAC. They get the ductwork in place. They run some pipes. They do all of that before they do the electrical, because the electrical is pretty easy to work around things, but not so much with your HVAC and your plumbing. Once you get those in, they're pretty much there to stay. All right. This is also when they will frame in the windows. What they do is they cover the outside with sheetrock or some kind of sheeting, and they will cut out the windows, and then they wrap the house in this protective plastic, which also helps insulate the house. And you can see this one doesn't have the roof on yet. So the next step with this one would be putting the roof on and getting that done. Once the roof is on, the home is considered closed in. And that's when they can really start to come in and do some work. Again, the HVAC system is put in place, all the ductwork, plumbing is put in place, and then they will rough out where the electrical receptacles are going to go and that sort of thing. And then the next step, they actually start to do some finish work. The electricians will come in and run the wires, install the breaker box, get everything run to the box. And again, the plumbing and HVAC would have already been installed. So the next step is insulation. And insulation is super important because it determines the energy efficiency of the home, which determines your utility bills. If you've got a home that is not insulated well, it's not going to stand up to the heat and cold here, and your utility bills are going to be higher. They will also bring in insulation and do the exterior walls. Of course, they do the attic. You're going to have different kinds of insulation. A lot of them use the bats or the rolls. That's very typical. We are seeing some that do blown-in insulation and even some that are doing the foam. Now, the foam is more expensive, but it has twice the R value of other insulation. So you're seeing a lot of the high-end builders now are going with foam. So the next step is when the house actually starts taking shape. Once all the electrical, the plumbing, everything is done, the insulation is done, they are going to start putting sheetrock on the walls. And they will put up the sheetrock, they'll sand it, they'll tape it, they'll paint it really nice. You can see this is a home that is in the next step. They'll also start doing things like, finishing out the install of lights once all the sheetrock is there, finishing up the electrical part. They'll start bringing in the cabinets, countertops, appliances, putting in the vent hoods, starting to do some finishes. You'll see like the baluster here for the stairs and the risers. All of this is finish work. All right. So the house at this point really is starting to take shape. It looks like a house. A lot of things are being buttoned up. Hardwood floors are in if that's what they're going to use. They typically will wait and do carpet a little bit later. These floors really take a beating. Most of the builders now are using like an LVP or an engineered hardwood because it is actually a little more durable, I think, than regular wood. So they'll also start doing the exterior finishes. If they're going to brick the home, they'll brick it. They're going to start doing the paint. They start doing things if there's stucco or stone or that sort of thing, getting that in place. And again, you got your cabinets, your vanities going in. If you're going to have a fireplace, which this home does not, the fireplace will go in, the mantle will go in. And then once all of that happens, then they come in and do the final coat of paint, get it nice and pretty, make sure everything is bottled up, and then they'll also work on the exterior. That's when they're going to do things like the driveway, the walkways, patios are formed at this stage. Some builders will put in the driveway first so people can walk in and out. Most of the builders here are going to wait until the last to do the driveway because they know it's going to get beat to heck if they go ahead and do it ahead of time. So that's all going to be happening. And then the next step is going to be the hard surfaces like tile, again, the flooring, and we're already at that point with this home. That's going to be put in as well as countertops. You can see we've already got granite put in here, right? Okay. And again, this is also when they start doing the finish work on the electrical. They put in the light fixtures, they put in the switches, they put in the receptacles. They finish with the HVAC. They get that all complete. They'll put in sinks, toilets, that sort of thing. And then finally, once all of that is done, they will come back and finish things like toilets, shower doors, vanities, that sort of thing. And so at that time, everything is pretty much buttoned up. And the house is ready for a final inspection. And I get asked all the time, Tim, should I have new construction inspected? And by that, you hire an outside inspector to come in and inspect the work. I always believe you should get an inspection. And it has nothing to do with the quality of the build. It has more to do with just making sure that all the little details have been taken care of. Because building a house, again, we've just kind of scratched the surface. You can see how many steps there are, and sometimes things do get missed. So I do recommend hiring an inspector. It's a few $100s, typically a few $100 well spent. And then you'll come back in and do what we call a blue tape walkthrough. You will meet the builder at the home with literally a roll of blue tape, and you will go through the home room by room looking for things that need to be taken care of. Typically it's paint. Maybe an area didn't get another coat of paint, or there's a nick here, there's a nick there, and you literally put little pieces of blue tape all over the place, all over the walls, the vanities, the countertops. I mean, I've seen microwave doors were not installed. That gets a piece of blue tape. So you will blue tape everything. And also your inspector will do his inspection. He will create a report and give that to you. So you can also turn that over to the builder and say, okay, Mr. Builder, we've done our blue tape. We know everything we need to fix there. By the way, here is a report from the inspector. Let's take care of everything there. So that is not the final inspection, but again, I call it the blue tape. Typically a week later, you will come back, meet with the builder, just to make sure that all of the blue tape items were taken care of, just to make sure that everything on the inspection report was taken care of, and the home is good to go. And when you are doing your final inspection, look at every room carefully, flush every toilet, turn on every faucet, let the hot water run, get hot, test the microwave, test the oven, test the eyes. You literally want to turn everything with an on-off switch, on-off, just to make sure everything is working, and then that takes you to close. All right, so that's the process from A to Z. Again, it always starts with a rough piece of land, and they have to come in, do the engineering studies, get everything mapped out there, get all of the permits, get everything they need. They come in then and they will smooth the land, they'll grade it, they'll do whatever they need to do, they'll cut in roads, they will do whatever underground utilities there are, they'll do the sewage, etc. And then once you get to that point, they smooth over the lots and they start to build. All right, they build the slab, then they come in and they do the framing, they do the roof, they do insulation, the plumbing, the HVAC, and that goes all the way through until they do the sheetrock, bring in your granite, bring in your cabinets, and just finish the home overall. All right, so it's pretty complicated. Hopefully the builders know what they're doing, and most of them do. I get asked a lot about the timeline. Typically now, if you are building new construction here, from the day you break ground to the day you move in, could be 10 months, could be longer. There are some of the higher end builders here, 12 to 14 months. So new construction is going to take a while. Now you may be able to find a home that is already under construction. It was a spec home. The builders are building it just to sell someone. It's not called for. We have that happen quite a bit. I had clients come in this weekend from Nebraska, found a new construction home that's going to be ready in about 2 or 3 weeks, and it's perfect for them. So it just depends on your timeline and where they are in the process. And typically the way it is from a buyer standpoint is you come in, you choose from the available lots, you choose from the available plans, you sign the paperwork, and the work begins. So it's not a complicated process, but it really can be if you're not careful. Hey, don't forget, guys, I work with folks just like you every day who are coming here for work, for retirement, for school, and a lot of those are opting for new construction. And we work with every builder in town. We've got a great relationship with them. They let me go through their houses on the weekends. Got a great relationship with them, and so we would be more than happy to be your advocate here, working with the builders. What's happening a lot is every weekend now, I've got folks from out of town who are coming into town to get, we call it the nickel tour. We put together a list of homes for them to see that fit their parameters. We drive around, we look at neighborhoods, we look at homes, and usually before the weekend is over, they've found a home and they put in an offer on it. So if we can do that for you, more than happy to. My contact information is below. Don't forget, I've got Revolved Realty here, myself and 80 agents ready to go to work for you. We will find you the perfect home, whether it is an existing home or perhaps new construction. So, all right, guys, that's it. I am going to button it up and get back inside. But if you would like more information on new construction that is going on here in North Alabama, I'm your guy. Just drop me a line, give me a call, send me a text, send me an email, and we will start the hunt for you. So I hope that was helpful. I know it was kind of long and drawn out, but I do get a lot of questions about it. So, all right, guys, that's it. Get out there, make it a great day. I'll talk to you soon. Bye.